Hey, what's going on, friends and theme park fans? This is Silver Stix here for another Stix Top 6, where I count down the best and worst that theme parks have to offer. Alrighty folks, since the creation of Disneyland back in 1955, there's been a constant mantra set by Walt himself to never stop advancing and pushing forward their theme parks into the future. And to this day, that's exactly what they still stand by, which is why we've seen so many different attractions come and go over the years, some for better, some for worse. And today I really wanted to take a look at that worst side of things as we take a little trip through memory lane and count down the top 6 worst failed Disney attractions. Let's jump right in. Starting off our list today, we'll be blasting off over to Tomorrowland in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom for the newest addition to the failed attractions list. And that, of course, is the undebatably awful Stitch's Great Escape, opened on November 16th, 2004. This attraction came into the park to fill the void after extraterrestrial alien encounter was shelved for being too scary and violent for most audiences. I guess it was smart enough to reuse the same building, some of the same animatronics, and basically the exact same ride function for money-saving purposes. However, when Stitch's Great Escape was officially available to the public, it got immediately slammed from mixed reviews. Sure, there were some folks who found it to be silly fun for the family, but for everyone else, once you got past the pre-show and you entered the actual attraction, it just went downhill from there. From feeling Stitch's gross slobber and hot breath on you, to him literally burping in your face all while you just sit there unmoving, this ride seriously just ends up being nothing more than a test in patience on so many levels. And funny enough, they opened this attraction to combat the scariness of the previous one, but still without fail kids would walk out of this ride in tears because regardless that it was Stitch and not a giant alien, it's still a dark room that simulates a foreign creature stumbling about near you, and no matter what, that's gonna be frightening to a child. So really, when you take into account that this ride was annoying for adults, scary for kids, and then just probably downright unfun for teenagers, you've really got to stop and ask, who exactly was this for, and why didn't it get removed from the park earlier than it officially did in 2018? I'd really like to know. And also, one last thing, super quick, before we move on to number 5, can anybody tell me in the comments why if you go on Walt Disney World's website, or even just Wikipedia, this ride is listed as operating seasonally, even though we're all, kind of aware it isn't? Alrighty then, making our way over to Epcot, where inside of the Extinct Wonders of Life Pavilion, we would have been able to find one of the nastiest, most sickening rides of all time, ironically using the exact same ride system from Star Tours. Only instead of flying through a galaxy far, far away, you'd get to experience flying through the human body, just like an episode of Magic School Bus, but a lot less fun. This ride was called Body Wars. It opened on October 19th, 1989, and survived until January 1st, 2007. It followed a simple story of you partnering up with the Miniaturized Exploration Technologies Corporation to study the effects of white blood cells on a splinter in the volunteer's index finger. That is, of course, until your partner, Dr. Lair, gets swept away throughout unauthorized areas of the body, and it becomes our mission to rescue her and escape. I know, it's a bizarre concept, and as you can see, the visuals are pretty gross looking and unappealing, and it's even more disgusting when you really think about it. Dr. Lair is like swimming in all this blood and guts and nastiness, and if that's not bad enough, because of the ride technology used to pull off this attraction, a lot, and I mean a lot of people were left with motion sickness in one way or another, thanks to the small screen, very red, fast-moving video with 3D glasses on, in a confined cabin that jerks and sways all around. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And for the people that were able to ride comfortably with no stomach issues, there was just nothing really interesting or jaw-dropping about this ride to begin with. Like I said, it's basically just Magic School Bus, and frankly I feel like that episode where they go inside Arnold was about 1,000,000 times more interesting than Body Wars ever was, or its legacy ever will be. If you happen to fly through Adventureland from April 5th, 1998 to January 12th, 2011, then you might just remember running into one of the most disgraceful attractions in Disney history, the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. This show was essentially Iago from Aladdin and Zazu from The Lion King joining the original Tiki Room cast as owners of the building in an effort to revitalize and modernize the show, obviously using movie tie-ins and popular fan-favorite songs. Which honestly maybe certain people enjoyed or didn't mind too much, but personally I love the original Tiki Room music and characters, and there's just so much rich Disney history within those walls that it just seems foolish to try to change the past like that. Not to mention there's already so much Lion King and Aladdin represented throughout the parks that it just kind of felt unnecessary. I mean, honestly, there's a clear reason they ended up reverting back to the original script since 2011, because it's iconic, and it provides a look back on one of the coolest technical achievements that have gotten the park to where it is today with its insane use of audio animatronics. The Tiki Room is just flat out legendary on every level. The Tiki Room under new management, on the other hand, needs to be left in the past as a random placeholder for a few years and not brought up again after this video. It just deserves to be forgotten at this point. Alrighty folks, shifting our focus over to Disneyland now, specifically inside of Disney California Adventure for this one, where we'll make our first pit stop in Cars Land to reminisce on the days when we could float around on Luigi's Flying Tires that opened alongside Cars Land on June 15th, 2012. This was a hovering bumper car attraction that fit up to 3 people on these giant tire ride vehicles that you'd control by leaning your body in the direction you'd like to go in. The concept of this attraction was actually based off the original flying saucers that appeared back in 1961, and somehow it regressed tenfold since then. The speed of the tires was beyond slow. Bob Iger, CEO of the Walt Disney Company at that time, tested the ride before it opened and admitted to feeling underwhelmed, which in turn saw the Imagineers add all these beach balls you see to the attraction, again, just like the flying saucers. But of course, this ended up in several injuries and lawsuits towards Disney thanks to people throwing the balls at each other, and it was really the nail in the coffin when even more injuries and lawsuits came in from people hurting themselves just getting on and off this bulky beast of a ride cart. So with this attraction getting such poor reception all around, and the fact it was causing more trouble than it was worth, it quickly earned itself a spot amongst the rest of Disney's extinct attractions on February 17th, 2015. A very well-deserved spot, if you ask me. Sticking around in Disney California Adventure, to be precise, opening day of Disney California Adventure on February 8th, 2001, which saw the reveal of at-time CEO Michael Eisner's genius idea for an attraction, the stunningly awful Superstar Limo. This was a dark ride literally based on Hollywood itself, celebrities, and the entertainment industry in-jokes. It definitely appealed to people like Michael Eisner, but just about nobody else. The ride cart moved at a snail's pace, the wax figure agent guy that tells you to go to the Chinese theater was creepy and weird, the animatronic figures were so unbelievably basic that they might as well have not moved at all, and finally, other than just getting to the theater, there was no real story to this attraction because originally it was going to be focused around you being this superstar in a limo, wink wink, that has to evade the paparazzi on their way to the Chinese theater. Doesn't sound very much more interesting, but it was something at least. However, right at the time of development, the world saw the loss of Princess Diana while her limo driver attempted to avoid paparazzi on August 31st, 1997. And obviously with this horrific tragedy, Disney couldn't continue with the original concept, but because they had already begun work on the ride, they pretty much had to turn it into the hollow shell it ended up as. Which is pretty sad, who knows, maybe the original ride would have been slightly better, but circumstances happen, and let's face it, it's probably just better off at this point that Superstar Limo is nothing more than a bad random moment in Disney history. Finishing off our list strong today in Disneyland's Tomorrowland, directly after the giant overhaul that took place and changed the look and feel of everything up to that point, which took place on May 22nd, 1998. As part of this revamping of Tomorrowland, Imagineers decided to remove the long-lasting fan-favorite ride the People Mover and replace it with a high-octane thrill ride attraction using the same People Mover tracks, which they dubbed the Rocket Rods. Oh, give me a break, that's not even a good name. Regardless though, the Rocket Rods definitely faced mixed reviews. Some people thought they were fun enough, while others hated that the ride would continuously start and stop and start and stop over and over again at every turn so that the ride vehicle wouldn't fly right off the track. It really made the entire ride through a jerky, uncomfortable mess from start to finish. On top of opinions being totally split for this attraction, it was also causing a ton of wear and tear to the People Mover tracks, so the ride would constantly be put on hold for maintenance until one day, on April 28, 2001, they officially announced the closure of the Rocket Rods for good. Which may seem like a happy ending because some other better attraction could come in and take its place, right? Right? Well, not so much. Because of the wear and tear I mentioned earlier, the tracks were completely ruined beyond repair, so there's literally nothing they can do unless they pretty much went through and redid Tomorrowland fully once again. Which, gotta be honest, I don't really see that happening anytime soon, so until then, or maybe until the end of time, we'll be able to still see the tracks just sitting there as a depressing reminder of something good turned into something so bad. Alrighty folks, that's gonna about wrap up my Stix Top 6 Worst Failed Disney Attractions. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video around. It'd mean a lot and help out a ton. Also, leave in the comments what you think are the worst failed attractions throughout any of the Disney parks. I'd love to start a conversation down there. But anyway folks, until next time, this is Silver Stix signing out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, theme park fans. Peace.